I'm going to go over just my thoughts on the business. I believe real estate business is extremely simple. And I think we as an industry, we overcomplicate the business way too much. Way too much. So write this down, guys, because this is the first thing. Contacts equal contracts. So, Bob, let me ask you a question, Bob. Bob Jones. You're in the middle of my screen, so I just called you, Bob. If you want to unmute yourself. So I'll ask you, Jessica. Jessica. There you go, Bob. Excellent, Bob. So contacts equal contracts. That's how easy this business is. So let me ask you a question. Last year, if you would have contacted twice as many people, past clients, sphere of influences, leads, everything, right? If you would have talked to twice as many people, would you have sold twice as many houses?
Likely so, yes.
That's how simple it is, guys. It says contacts equal contracts. We have three things that we have control over. We have control over our skills, we have control over our attitude, and we have control over our schedule. To be extremely successful, we have to try to leverage our schedule to have more contacts. Now, I want you guys to write down, if you would, A, B, C, and D. A, B, C, D. Here's what A's are. Guys, A's are the things that we get paid to do, almost like billable hours from an attorney. All right, so we get paid to go on listing appointments. So write that down on A. We get paid to negotiate contracts. We get paid to go on buyer appointments. Now, with the buyers, I might want to mention, Bob, that there's three things. The buyer needs to be highly motivated, realistic, and have the means. If not, they're not really a buyer, right? And I'll add a fourth one in for you guys. You get paid to recruit. So when you're on a recruiting appointment, that's also an A for you. So the A activities that you guys do that you get paid for is listing appointments, buyer appointments, working with buyers, negotiating contracts, and being on recruiting appointments. B are the things, Julie, the B are the things that cause A to happen. And those are only two things. That's prospecting and lead follow-up. Prospecting and lead follow-up is in the B category. C is everything else that is absolutely important in your business, and that's in the C. And D, Nazar, are the dumb things we do that we need to get rid of that we shouldn't have in our schedule anyways. All right?
What's C again?
And C is everything else that's important. Everything else is important. So if we look at A are the listing appointments, the buyer appointments, negotiating contracts. B is prospecting and lead follow-up. C is everything else that's important. D are the dumb things that need to get rid of. You guys, the more you do in A and B, the more money you make. The less C you do, the more money you make. Everything is in C is delegatable. I don't even know if that's a word. You can delegate, guys, everything in C. And if you do delegate everything in C, you get to have more time to do A and B. You know, I work with clients all the time. We try to figure out when they hired the administrative assistant or their operations person, and I have them write down every 15 minutes what they do, and then we write down A, B, C, D next to it. The definition of their job description for their assistant is actually all the C's, because that's what they're freeing up so they can do A and B. So if we realize that contacts equal contracts, and if we realize that if we have twice as many contacts, we're going to do twice as much business, we have to make our schedules so they match our ability to doing more contacts. This is, I'm going to share my screen with you. Nazar, do I have the ability of sharing? Yeah, I do. Good, thanks. So this is an example, guys, for a typical real estate agent. This is like what a schedule could look like. It's very simple. 2 hours a day of prospecting, 1 hour a day of lead follow-up. My yellows are my appointments, and my blues are my time off with my family and the things I do personally. You guys, if you do 2 hours a day prospecting, 1 hour lead follow-up, you will do plenty of business. Now, the reason why, Nazar, I put these in blocks of 1 hour apiece is because if I'm sitting here on the second and I can't do that for some reason, I can move that to another spot. So I can simply move that to another spot and set something else there if I need to, guys. But we do like to prospect in the morning because if we prospect in the afternoon, sometimes our afternoon takes over our business. But the thing is, no matter what, those are my blocks that I have to finish by the end of the week. Is anybody in here a little competitive? Yeah, a little competitive. I think most of us realtors are. You'll notice on that schedule, there's yellow blocks. Our job, Jessica, is to fill the yellow blocks. Jessica, you have a doctor, right?
Yes.
Yes, and if you called the doctor right now and said, hey, I'm coming in your office this afternoon at 1 o'clock, what would your doctor say?
I'm not available. First of all, I
Yes.
wouldn't get the doctor. I would
You wouldn't get the
desk.
doctor, not available. Fair. Okay. Or your attorney or your CPA or anybody that you guys think that is a professional, you react to their schedule. Yet in real estate, we have a tendency to always jump when somebody wants to do something. My suggestion is you pay attention to your schedule as much as possible. And those yellow blocks that I shared with you, those are the things that you fill. So somebody wants to see a house. I said, Jessica, I have time at 3 and 4. Which one works better for you? And keep to your schedule, because if you do your prospect and your lead follow-up, you're going to hit your goals. Make sense? So you build your business based upon your schedule. There's really 6 major areas of production that most people concentrate on. And these are the big 6. For sale by owners, expireds, geo calling, geo door, we're doing something with geo, past client sphere of influence, open houses, and online leads. So if you're wondering what to put into that schedule, those are the things that we can work on. Bob, do you have, I keep on calling you Bob. I'm glad you volunteered. Thank you. You're in the middle of my screen, so therefore I'm calling on you.
It's been voluntold.
Yes,
worry.
exactly. Is that all right, Bob?
Yeah, of course.
Bob, do you have any buyers that are out there looking for houses right now?
Yes.
Okay. And the reason why they don't have a house is because you haven't found one they like. Make sense?
Yes.
So if I was to spend my time in the morning prospecting and I had a buyer looking, these are the 7 things that I would be doing in the morning to use my buyers to double dip transactions and to get listings. So Bob, if I have somebody, so write this first one down, guys. First one's expired. So Bob, you have somebody looking for a certain type of house, right? You have them in the MLS system, right? They're set up, they're inactive in the MLS system, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, this price range, this area. What I want you to do, Bob, is I want you to change that. You're just going to change it to expired. And you're going to go back 5 years. And you guys, all MLSs have a history button. We click the history button, and guess what comes up? This one's active, that one's pending, that's sold, that's sold, that's sold. This one's expired. So Bob, you're going to reach out to that expired listing that matches your buyer and have a conversation with them. And the conversation's really quite easy, Bob. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. This is Dave Thompson. I'm a realtor. Hey, I had a quick question for you, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Yeah, you had your house on the market about 2.5 years ago, and I'm really calling for a specific reason. I have a buyer looking for a house that matches your house. I'm just wondering if you had any interest in selling your house. You guys, that is the easiest call you'll ever make in real estate, is calling an expired when you have a buyer that matches.
Yeah.
Makes sense? Now, when I show that house, Bob, now if the buyer likes it, I probably get a little bit more money because I got both sides of that transaction. Make sense?
Right. Okay.
But if the buyer doesn't like it, Bob, what do I get? I'm probably going to get a listing. I still have a buyer, but look, I just found out you still have an interest in selling, and I just showed your house. Your own agent never even showed it during the time it was listed. Guys, do you see you'd probably get a listing? Make sense? Yep. Write down for sale by owner. That's number 2. Guys, I'm going to do the same activity with the for sale by owner. Now, I'm probably not going to get any more money because I'm only representing one side, if you would, from a compensation standpoint. But, Bob, I'm probably going to sell sell a house, and a lot of times that for sale by owner is going to end up working with me to go find another house too. But the nice thing is, instead of working with my buyer, Jessica, for months after months or weeks after week, I actually sell my house really quick because I did a for sale by owner. So number one is expired. Number two is for sale by owner. Number three is GeoCall. GeoCall. Red X, Mojo, whatever your flavor is, whatever program you want, Bob, you're going to call a neighborhood and you're literally going to have a conversation with all the owners and find out if anyone's interested in selling. If they are interested in selling, you're going to show them the house, right? Potentially sell it, double dip. But if they don't want to sell, if they don't want, your buyer doesn't want the house, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get a listing, right? Next one is Geo Mail. I'm going to mail that neighborhood. Next one is Geo Doors. I'm going to knock doors. Now, there's some of you guys right now with 20 inches of snow. I don't think you'd be knocking doors this week. But if the weather is appropriate, you guys could do that. So you got expired, for sale by owners, Geo Doors, Geo Mail, and Geo Calls. The next one is 10-year. Write down 10-year. I call it the 10-year plan of prospecting. So what I'm going to do, Emily, is I'm going to pull up all the houses that have sold in the neighborhood in the last 10 years. Everyone that sold in the last 10 years. That matches what the buyers list. So I'm going to take that expired. I'm going to go down to sold now. I'm going to do 10 years. And I'm literally going to go through pictures, Julie. I'm going to click through the pictures and I'm going to find about 20 houses that are just really good matches. Now, in most of your areas that you guys are in, either between 7 to 10% of the houses sell every year. That means you're going to have 10 to 15 conversations before you have somebody that you call that actually has an interest in selling. So I'm going to call that person, Julie. I'm going to give them a call. Bob just disappeared, so I'm going to role play with you, Nazar. So, Nazar, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. Who's this?
My name is Dave Thompson. I'm a real estate agent. Wonder if I could ask you a really quick question, if you don't mind.
Listen, you've come in a bad time. I don't have time right now to talk. What's this regarding?
I would skip it, guys, and I'd go on to the next call. I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to go on the next call. I'm going to find somebody that's nice to me. Jessica, ring, ring. Seriously, I'm just going to skip it. I don't need to convince you. So, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Good. My name is Dave Thompson. I'm a real estate agent. I wonder if I could ask you a really quick question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Yeah, so you bought a house do you still own the house on James and Henry Street, the pink house, green shutters or whatever?
I do.
Yeah, so I have a buyer that's looking in your neighborhood and your house as an exact match. And I just found out that you bought it like 5 years ago. I just wondered if you had an interest in selling it.
We don't. We love it here.
The number's 15. Every 15 of those calls, you're going to double dip a transaction. There's another 2 steps I can run you guys through, but for the sake of time, expireds, for sale by owners, Geo Calls, Geo Mail, Geo Door, and then I'm going to call people in the neighborhood for using that, going back 10 years. So we always have something to call in the morning when we prospect, guys. Make sense?
Yeah.
Now,
If you get someone that's more aggressive like me, your tendency is just to like skip it. Do you call them back because maybe they're just having a bad day, or do you just say that it's not a person I want to work with?
Yeah, I just move on to the next call. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, at this point, I'm actually literally looking for a buyer for my looking for a house for my buyer. It's just prospecting. If somebody's kind of rude to me on the phone, I just kind of chalk it up. I don't want to work with them anyway, so I just smile and move on to the next call. It's good. Somebody had a question?
Yeah, if they haven't hung up on us, we're doing this right now for a buyer, and if they haven't hung up on us, we'll just say this will be so quick, just and then we've got a buyer looking for a home in your neighborhood. Just wondering if you've thought about selling, and if not, do you know of a neighbor that thought about it?
Yep,
and then
perfect.
And then that's
just
it.
A quick call, and they don't mind when you say it's just a quick call, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely, guys. So you never have you never have a problem with what you're trying to call, because if you have a buyer, you can always do prospecting. Makes sense? So I'm going to work on something, because the purpose of today's call is how easy the business is. So who's a volunteer? Somebody tell me who they want me to volunteer. Somebody on here.
Jacoby Mays. He looks like the type of person that wants to be on.
Jacoby.
Yes.
Hello. Jacoby. We're going to have some fun. Would you like to build a business plan?
I would love to.
in like 5 minutes?
That sounds great.
Okay. So here, let's build a business plan. Grab your pen and paper.
Got it right here.
Okay, wonderful. How much money would you like to make? Not how much money are you making? How much money would you like to make in real estate sales?
This year specifically,
Nope, just in general. Starting right now, today, for 1 year from here.
$250,000.
Okay, so write down 250 if you would. And you
Okay.
guys can go through these steps if you want. How much is your average income that you make?
That I've made in the years prior.
No, how much is your average income you make when you sell a house? I guess I should have been more clear about that question.
Oh, yeah, good question. I would say probably around splits and everything, take home probably around 6,500.
Okay, so take 250,000 divided by 6,500, and what does it come up with, Jacob?
$38.46.
So we're going to call it 39. All right. So Jacob, for you to do 39 transactions, this is my suggestion, that 70% of your business should come from listings and that 30% should come from buyers. Make sense?
Yep.
Buyers are free because when you list a property, you're going to get buyers. If you have a good priced house, you're going to have to do open houses. Sometimes the sellers are going to buy a house with you. Sometimes Jacob, somebody's going to call you directly, right?
Yep.
So we don't worry about the buyers, but let's just take this. So 39, so write down 39 times 0.7.
Yep.
39 times 0.7 is 28. Let's just call it 28 listings, and therefore you need 11 buyers. Make sense? Okay.
Yep.
What percentage, Jacob, of your listings sell in your marketplace?
Oh, good question. I should know, but I don't.
Take a guess. 80%, 90%?
Yeah, probably 75 to 80.
Let's just go with 75. All right. So if you need to have, how many listings did we need to have sell? Was it 28? Okay, so 28 divided by 0.75. Jacob, you need to get 38 listings. So to pull off that goal, Jacob, you need to list 3 listings a month, a little over 3 listings a month. Sound pretty reasonable?
For my current business, that'd be a big stretch because I work primarily with buyers right now. But
Okay.
doable.
This might be good. It might be a good shift for you. 38. Now, those are how many listings you need, but that's not how many appointments you need. So you're going to go out on appointments and you're going to be very selective on who you work with, and you're going to win 70% of the time. So write down, if you would, Jacob, take 38. And we're going to take 38 divided by 0.7.
Like
and we got
54
54. Yeah, let's call 55 appointments. So just about 1 appointment per week. So if I divide that 55 by 12, you right now, you know what you need to do on a monthly basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to actually go out to 4.5 houses per month. 5 houses basically per month. Now, Jacob, there's one more thing we're going to work on. Not everybody you set an appointment is going to turn into an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to do 70%. 30% of the time, they're going to cancel. They're going to decide to list with a neighbor. You're going to decide you don't want to take it. So you need to set 78 appointments.
Okay.
Okay. So 78 appointments divided by 12 is 6.5 appointments. So you need to set 6.5 appointments and go out on 5 appointments and get 3 listings a month. Now, and take 6.5 appointments, Jacob, and I divide it by 4, that's only 1.5 appointments a week you need to set. Not even 2 appointments a week. Now, could you build your schedule in a way that you could set 2 appointments a week?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, if you do that, Jacob, you'll make $250,000. Sound easy?
When you say it like that, yeah.
It is easy, guys. We
So
over
Jacoby,
like it.
if I were to just chime in real quick, Jacoby, if you were to look at how much money you made last year,
Yep.
and then compare that to the 250,000 that you want to make, Is there a difference between what you made and what you want to make?
Yes.
And so like then it just goes back to the formula, right? Like if the action part of you taking those listings, doing those things didn't happen, then the reflection is that you didn't make the money that you want to make.
Yeah.
So the variable is that if you do the work and you break it down like the simple math that David said, then the result is that you're going to make that money.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
In
The
fact-
actions are controllable and the results will follow.
In fact, if you spend a couple hours every day prospecting, you're going to set more than 2 appointments a week.
Yeah.
I don't say this to impress anybody, and that's not who I am, but to press upon you. Back in the 90s, I was personally selling over 300 homes a year from listings, doing 2 appointments every single night, 5 days a week. And all we did was get our stuff from prospecting. I understood what was important, and I built my schedule around setting appointments. I'm going to do one other exercise with you guys. Do I have, well, actually, I'll just do it with you, Nazar. Nazar, in your area, what's your average commission?
The average commission would be 18,000.
Okay, so if you're on a team and you'd probably get somewhere about, let's just call it 10, right? Okay, so we're going to use 10. So Nazar, if you're on the phone, and I'm just simply, in one of these calls, guys, I'm going to go through each one of those things, expireds, for sale by owners, geo calls. I'm going to go through each one of those things each and every week with you guys when I do these calls. But right now, I'm just going to do the numbers, Nazar, on geo calling. And show you guys, can you guys write down, think before I do this, what are you worth an hour? Ever think about that? What are you worth an hour? Okay. Nazari, if you did 3 hours of dialing per day, you're going to get a hold of 8 people per hour using a dialer, just doing geo calling. So what is that? 8, 16, 24, right? So you're going to
3
get
hours?
20. Yeah, 3 hours at 8, right?
Uh-huh.
24. So if you do that 5 days a week, you're going to get 120, right? And 120. And if you did it for 120 times 50 weeks, you're going to get a hold of 6,000 people. Now, Nazar, in your area, probably about 7% of the people move every year, right?
I'd say it's down to 3%.
About 3%? Okay.
Mhm.
So out of 100 people, you're going to talk to 3 people that are going to move. So you would probably get something out of 100 contacts, 100 conversations, right? Do you
Say that
think
again?
that's reasonable? If you're 1 out of every 33 people, if it's 3%, 1 out of every 33 people are moving, and you talk to 100 people, you're going to have 3 conversations with people that are moving. You're probably going to get something out of 100 calls. Would you agree?
Correct. You should theoretically get 3.
Yeah. Well, you're going to end up getting one because not everybody knows today that they're going to have a baby getting laid off, or et cetera, et cetera. And we don't build rapport there, and sometimes we catch them in the wrong moods. But I can tell you that the number usually sits around 80. We're going to use 100 here. So Nazar, if you did 3 hours of prospecting using geo calls, would you not sell 100 homes? Because our number was 6,000 contacts.
6,000 divided by 100
contact.
is 60.
Oh, 60 homes. Boy, my math is off today. 60. Okay. So you're going to make, Nazar, if you make $10,000, you'll make $600,000 by spending 3 hours a day prospecting. Is that correct? Make sense?
Yeah, it's funny that, when you spell it out that way, it seems very simple.
It is very simple. But let me show you this. Since you, Nazar, you would be making $600,000 for spending 3 hours. I divide that by 50. You're making $600,000 divided by 50. You're making $12,000 a week. You're making $2,400 a day. You're making $800 an hour. So with those numbers, Nazar, by prospecting, would make $800 an hour. Now, you're only getting a hold of 8 people per hour. So what is every contact worth? $100. Nazar, if I had a bag of money in my pocket right here, bag of money, and they're all $100 bills, and I was going to pay you $100 every time somebody answered the phone, no matter what it turned into, how many hours would you spend on the phone dialing for $100 every time the phone got picked up?
Ideally, more than 3.
Mhm. Yeah. Guys, this business is so simple. When you look at the ABCDs I gave you guys, when I do that exercise with most people and I have them spend the whole week, I find that they're spending 70-80% of their time in the C's and they're not spending their time in the A's and B's. If we spend our time having conversations, closing becomes really, really easy, guys. Real easy. So build your schedule out based on conversations and appointments.
You know what I love about that? Is that I was like a little offended that you like just decided not to talk to me. But I think what's really cool is that if you are making, if you're making calls and you're making enough calls and you're talking to enough people, then you don't have to deal with anyone that you deem that you don't like. Right?
Well, here's another thing on that, Nazar. I used to have this hung in my office, guys, when I was in production. I now run a team and I coach and I do other things. I'm not in production anymore. But here's the thing. Can I ask all you guys, raise your hand if you guys have ever had that. Have you ever worked with somebody that you wish you never worked with? Okay. Everybody has raised their hand. Okay. Right. Now I want you all to pretend that the time that you were working with that person, pretend that you had $500,000 extra money sitting in the bank account. You had 15 pendings and you had 10 listing appointments coming up and you had 10 listings. At that time, would you have made a different decision? And every one of you are shaking your head yes. So write this and hang this up on your wall. If you prospect, you don't have to put up with. Prospecting actually gives you prospecting and lead follow-up gives you the freedom of choosing who you want as your clients. So I don't need to put up with that because I have enough options, right? It actually is what gives you the freedom in this business. Cool. Sorry, I was able to do that in a half an hour.
You got a minute to spare.
Minute to spare. Any questions, guys? I'm open for questions. I can stay after a few minutes here.
The question that I would like to have, if I could speak for people on this call, that they're saying is, it sounds too good to be true, and it sounds easier said than done. So tell me the roadblocks you feel that people can have and how they get over those roadblocks so they can actually make those calls. Because I am confident that no one in this group is making calls for 3 hours a day, let alone an hour a day. And so how do you shift the mindset and go to start making those calls so that you can get, because we live in a instant gratification world. And so when you're making call after call after call, rejection after rejection, it gets really hard to have that thick skin to continue doing it. So what are some tactics and strategies behind that?
And by the way, prospecting doesn't have to be calls. I just used calls as an example. It can be door knocking. It can be a whole networking. It can be everything as long as you're having contacts. We use Geo as an example of this. But the very first thing I would say is most people work hard enough to pay their bills. Right? There's an old saying, and just in sales, not in real estate sales, Nazar, is just if you want to sell more of something, go buy a bigger house and a new truck, right? And you'll have more responsibility and you're going to have more bills and therefore you're going to sell more. Well, success comes from realizing that you have to change that way of thinking. And what I find is that most people don't realize what they're trying to accomplish. So one of the exercises I take people through is we really figure out what the perfect life would be like in 5 years and we backwards engineer a plan, kind of like what I did with you, Jacob, only just a little different. We dig into really what you're trying to accomplish. But the reason, Nazar, that people don't do what they're supposed to do is because their why isn't important enough to them. They perceive the phone or prospecting as an activity they don't enjoy. But if they realize the activity would create this result, and if that result was strong enough to them, they would do the activity. I mean, Nazar, if you had to, you're going to lose your house. They're going to repossess your car, right? And you had to go get 3 listings so you could take a commission advance on the listings and you had 2 weeks to do it. Would you get on the phone and make phone calls? See, we're motivated by the negativity, but we're not usually motivated by the positive. Highly successful people have learned how to overcome this. They don't concentrate on what their needs are. They concentrate on what their desires are. They're confident that they can hit their needs. There's a lot more to it, Nazar, and I think that's really what it is if what you're trying to accomplish, right? Jacob, how many hours a day? You had 2 appointments a week, right? I mean, I'm definitely not trying to increase anybody's business plan, but Jacob, you could figure out how to make $1 million a year in real estate. There's many people that do it. And I could do the same number in backwards engineer and tell you how many hours you had a prospect. And if you were making so much money, Jacob, could you not hire somebody to do everything in the C category? So it just freed up your time to spend more time in A and B. Right? Business actually gets easier as we do more business, because as we do more business, we have more money to put the right people in place and use leverage. You actually can make more money and spend less time when you start to do the things you're supposed to do. That was a long answer to your question, Nazar.
No, and it's tough, right? Like it's easy to say, oh yeah, if you put a gun to my head, then I'm gonna do the thing. It's a lot harder, and most, I think, Americans live their lives, just like you said, right to the means that their lifestyle they've chosen for that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is hard. And sometimes when things go south or harder, most agents will do the opposite. They'll reduce their lifestyle to accommodate their income if they can, compared to saying, no, I'm going to actually, this is something I want. I'm going to make this thing work. I'm going to work harder. But what I love about the math part of it is that it takes the fogginess or the uncertainty of this process away. If we just focus on saying, okay, look, I know that I do really want to make this much money, because listen, I've always wanted a 6-pack. It's been always, a pipe dream to have a 6-pack, but I've never been willing to put in the effort to eat what I need to eat to get it.
Yeah.
And so when people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to make $250,000 a year, I want to make, $500,000 a year, whatever. I'm like, you don't. The idea sounds cool, but you really don't, because if you did, then your action would prove it.
100%. Yep. We have to find the why, what we're trying to accomplish, and we have to become it has to become a burning desire. Think and Grow Rich has to become a burning desire to force us into the activities, right? But also another question too, Nazar, just by the way, back to the phone calls. It's also just a side note. It's the environment that you create in your prospecting room if you're going to do prospecting. I love music, so I always have music playing. I have a headset that's noise canceling. I have things up on my wall. I play chess and I do all sorts of things, and my dialer is dialing the phone. So you have to create the environment where it's a lot of fun. When I was prospecting, and now I prospect for agents to join our company, but I still have the same environment when I do that. So there's that too. So, guys, I appreciate the time with you guys. Hopefully this helped a little bit. And I think on our next call, we'll probably jump into for sale by owners. And then after that, we'll do expireds. And I'm going to go through different systems with you guys. Sound good?
Thank you.
That was great. Thank you.
Hey, guys, have a good day. Bye now.
Bye.